Good afternoon. Welcome to Process Rules Camp 101. My name is Lindsay John. I'm head of CS here at Super. I'll be walking through our Process Rules Camp today. So welcome. There is a chat that I'll be asking you questions to help you engage throughout this entire thing. With your first question being, on a scale of 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with process rules? 1 being, I don't know what I'm doing, and 5 being, I am a supered process rules pro. Go ahead and give me your rating in the chat. Also say hello. Let us know where you are from. Just getting set up here on the back end. A 1. Fantastic. My favorite kinds. Okay. Just getting set up on the back end here today. Where's everyone joining us from? I personally am in Pinehurst, North Carolina. I should be better. Hi, Lindsay. Hello, Jeffrey. Welcome. Southern California. Love it there. Love it there. My husband is from Southern California. East Coast of Canada. Portland, Oregon. Oh my gosh. We have lots of fun places again here in the chat today. Well, I'm so glad that you've decided to take some time to spend with me today. I am just getting set up. I apologize. If you guys have followed me on LinkedIn, you know that I have had a baby recently. So I was just well, you know how babies are. They tend to control your schedule. So she decided to wake up early. So I was working on that. So give me 1 second to get everything up and ready to go. Okay. So today is going to be all about process rules. Now, we have a couple different trainings as we walk through today. Supered is a great tool for your sales enablement and your process enforcement. Thank you, Michelle. She's my baby is about 4 months old now, so 3 months. Don't give myself an extra month. So Supered is going to be your sales enablement and process enforcement best friend. Now, we do call ourselves a digital adoption platform, but really what that means is that we enable you to do sales enablement. Then we add in what we call process enforcement, and that is actually what allows for that digital adoption of all of your platforms. Process rules is very specific to HubSpot. So process rules is part of our process enforcement, and they are by far my favorite. So let's dig in. So in today's training, I am going to walk through a bunch of process rules that we have set up. I'm going to explain what they are and all the different use cases that you can do for your specific team. Halfway through the call, we will actually walk through and do a live. We'll build them together, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. We'll build them together. Okay, so now what are process rules? Process rules are the ability to actually flag any data inaccuracies. It's the ability to put in your best practices or alert your team to what your specific team processes are. Process rules, we are helping you enforce your process, okay? Where they appear, they actually appear on any HubSpot object, native objects, so deals, tickets, companies, contacts, and then of course, any custom objects that you have in your account. So as you can see, I am in one of our test deals in Supered right now. Well, actually in a demo environment. And there's a couple things that you can see right away that are flagging, okay? These are process rules, okay? These are the ability to actually make sure that you have best next practices in right where your team is looking, where they're working, to alert them of things that may be problematic with either their tickets, their deals. And it's a way to really put yourself, if you're a HubSpot admin or HubSpot partner, it's a way to put yourself, your knowledge, where your team is working to really help cut down on any questions, any what do I do, or I'm confused, okay? So we are seeing them live in action. So on here, we're going to see a couple different things. We're going to see some errors, we're seeing some warnings, and we're actually seeing some content, okay? So we're going to walk through all of these together. Now, we will start at the bottom. So actually, we'll start at the top because there are 2 different things. So this particular sales rep is using MEDDPICC as their sales methodology. You do not need to know what MEDDPICC is. Really, all it is just a different way that you can start to understand your ICPs, understand if they're a good fit for your company. It's really just a sales methodology. You could use BANT, you could use Closer. In this particular case, we are using MEDDPICC. Okay. So I, as your HubSpot admin, have actually set up a couple different things to make sure that we're getting the information that we need. So first off, in order for Medic to work properly, I have to make sure that all of these fields are filled out. Now, this rep has done a pretty good job. Okay. Except for one thing. They have missed out on competition. So I have reminded them at the top, who's our competition on this deal? The property field is empty, just like this is why this is flagging. I have added in a card, so a super card for more information. So if my reps are confused about what competition is, they can click on it and say, oh, it's okay, the knowledge of the competing vendors in this account. Got it. I've also taken an additional step as your HubSpot admin and added in a process rule with embedded competition questions. So I'm making the assumption as your HubSpot admin that, hey, since competition is empty, you probably just need a refresher on some good qualifying questions to ask to get to the root of who our competition in is still. So as your HubSpot admin, because I love you so much, love you so much, I am actually putting these exactly where you're working so you don't have to go digging. You don't have to say, hey, what Google Drive is this in, et cetera, et cetera. I've actually put those right in front of you. So I'm like, great, you know what? I now feel empowered to do these next steps and get the competition. Okay. You know what? In this particular field, actually no competitors are known. I'm doing well in this. Okay. I've saved those and that's actually cleared out 2 of my rules. Okay. I can still see that I have a couple more errors, right? This first one is that my close date is in the past. Oh, that's not a big deal, right? Wrong. Your HubSpot admin is going to be coming after you. Your sales manager is going to come after you. Your sales manager, your VP of revenue, everyone's coming after you because you are messing up their forecasting. All right. Okay, cool. So it is in the past. You're right. This deal is, oh God, it's November already. It's the 13th. Yeah, this is way past due. I'm actually going to put it out for 29 days. Okay. Fabulous. And actually cleared another warning too. So I'm feeling great. Okay. A little more, this deal type is unknown. Okay. Please fill out. Oh my God. Automations rely on this field. Okay. Another thing you can do if you're a HubSpot admin is that you can actually tell, or HubSpot partner, you can actually tell your team what automations are going to happen when they fill something out. So if I were to click on this, I could say, oh, well, that's not the right card, but I could say if you put it in a deal type of new business, it's going to move into a new pipeline and it's going to send a notification, whatever automations are in play. I don't really know. I'm making stuff up, as you can tell, but you don't make stuff up. Your automations are set solid. There's a lot of cool things you're doing. And now you can actually tell your team, your partners, what is happening. And when they choose, if this is new business. Okay. Now, we have created all these process rules, and so far, all of these process rules have been tied to data that has been on the deal, right? This is a competition, is a deal property. The close date is a deal property, and the new deal type is a deal property. Where process rules get really, really powerful is the fact that we can actually do cross objects validation, okay? Which means that I, while looking at a deal, can actually flag any information that's wrong with this contact. I can flag any information that's wrong with a line item. I can flag information that's from looking through a note, looking through an email, looking through multiple things. So I can actually make sure that every single process we have in place for my team is followed to a T. Let's see this in action, shall we? I'm going to just clear this. I know this is the one I have in play. We are going to go back to that test deal. Okay. So, example, I just went in and I cleared his lead status. Okay. When I came back to this deal, it's now telling me that associated contact is missing that information. Okay. So, as you start to think of all of the fixes you've had in place, one that comes to mind right away is report types, right? Going through and saying, hey, every single deal that has a company attached is missing, their ARR or is missing a association label, right? You now can actually use process rules to flag those inconsistencies so that your team is well aware of them from the very beginning, right? Because they're looking at deals. And 2, able to self-correct with the information that you're providing, okay? So this one, We're going to go through. We're going to re-up him to he's a new lead status. Go back to that deal. And we've cleared it. Okay. This last one, my discount is too high and it will not be approved by accounting. Okay. Another good rule, like, hey, you are in danger of not getting this deal closed because this needs to go to deal desk because the discount is too high. This is did you really want it to go that high? And you just maybe oversight, or just, hey, if you do want it to be however much, this will have to go to accounting and maybe stop your deal for 3 days. Okay. Well, it's really cool about Supered. Okay. It's not only via process rule am I telling you this, but I've actually put a guide inside here that will show you exactly step by step of where you need to go. Okay. I am going to do a guide me function. Okay. It is actually navigating me to this page. Okay. Scrolling me down to line items. Okay. It's telling me to click here. I'm going to edit. I need to navigate to my discount amount. Oh, you're right. 70% is, way too high. Thank you, process rules. Thank you, wonderful HubSpot admin, for catching that. And we're going to come through and I'm going to adjust this down to 30. It's telling me to save. It's telling me to update this deal amount. I've ended my tour. If I go back, look at that. It's completely cleared. I now have a super clean deal. Okay. My HubSpot admin is going to love me so much because they will not have to chase me down and tell me, hey, I need all this information filled out in order for our reports to be accurate. I love my HubSpot admin so much because she just saved me, she or he or they just saved me so much time because I now don't have to, go look for that SOP and try to figure out what's going on. And gosh, this is just so nice and easy. And I have the cleanest data in the world. Okay. We have a joke here at Supered that your CRM is the most expensive tool in your tool stack. And it's not because of how much it costs, although it can cost a lot. It is because important decisions are being made off the data that is in your CRM and they need to be accurate, right? The question, that tour feature is wild. Is that off a template within Supered or custom built? It is custom built. In Supered 101, we go over that. However, is that Allah? I am sorry, I butchered that. This is our guide functionality. When you open your Sidekick, when you come over to this guide functionality, you can record a new guide and it will actually tour you and follow where you're clicking on the page. Okay. Now, some best practices. Usually don't go over this in process rules, but that's okay. Best practices is start at a universal page. So if I wanted to do like deals, I'd start here. And you could record whatever, right? Create a deal, type in, edit this form. It'll track all of these. And when I press this little button, it'll let me name my guide, select the base. And this is now a custom tour. Okay. I know tours are my favorite. Actually, I lie. Process rules are my favorite, but process rules with tours, with guides is chef's kiss, is what the kids say these days. I'm not going to age myself. I think I just did. Okay. So process rules, the ability to serve warnings, right? Do data validation, things are missing that need to be filled out. Helping people understand the system that you set up with tips and tricks, best next practices. There's a ton of things that you could do for process rules. Okay. One last thing before we get into building. I'm burying the lead here a little bit, but process rules also have the ability to flag like deal tags. Okay. So when we came to this page first, you saw that this test still had a ton of deal tags. These are actually process rules. So you were able to get a very quick glance of what is happening with all of these rules. Okay. Internally here at Supered, we actually use these as they're a big function of our customer success role. So we work primarily with HubSpot partners. And so I use process rules to get a very quick glance of where everyone is in their onboarding process. Okay. It's another use case. Okay. So how do we build these? So hopefully during this little walkthrough, you had some time to get into Supered and set up. So go ahead and give me a thumbs up in the chat that you are ready to go and build inside Supered. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee, which is now cold. That is the life. Okay, we got thumbs up from Michelle. Fantastic. Jeffrey, fantastic. Okay, it looks like we are all ready to go. And of course, I have lost mine. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, so Supered in general is actually, everything is done via the Chrome extension, okay? So via the Sidekick. So if you look at other things, if you are in Supered 101, updates, tasks, cards, embeds, all those other fun things that make Supered a really cool, cohesive product, all are done via the Chrome extension. So as long as your users have the Chrome extension downloaded, they will see everything that you create for them. Process rules requires one additional step because it is a HubSpot specific feature. Okay, so we are going together. In your top left corner, we're just going to make sure that it's set up correctly. You're going to drop down. You're going to come to connections. Okay, and here, if you are not connected to anything, make sure that you hit a, it should say process enforcement enabled. There should be a little box. Make sure you hit that box. That is what allows us to do process rules. So go ahead and connect to the account that you want these process rules to be built off of and flag in. Again, this is very important that whatever hub domain that you're in, this is going to be more applicable for our HubSpot partners who are dealing with multiple accounts. If you are a super just end user, you're only working with HubSpot, one HubSpot account, this isn't applicable to you. But if you are one of our super HubSpot partners, it's a lot of words. You want to make sure that you are just connected and building in the account that you want to see your process rules flagged in. Okay. The reason we go through this process is because we actually are pulling over the schema. So just your properties to help actually build the data validation. Okay. Another thumbs up in the chat once you are connected. Your process enforcement enabled is yes. And then we will go and we'll start building together. I have brought out, mine is no. Jeffrey's good. Okay, Albert. If yours does say no, go ahead and disconnect. Okay. And we can just reconnect. And then you'll just want to make sure that this is checked yes. In fact, we'll go through this process together. Let's find my one account that I want them. It's MedPick Properties. Okay. Okay. All right, let's start building together. Albert, let me know if that fixes it. If you haven't, you may not have the right permissioning to connect. If hopefully you do, if you're on this call. But let me know when you are good to go as well. For everyone else, we are actually going to head over to the left-hand side into processes. This is where we will build these fun rules together. Okay. On here, it'll also give you another warning. It'll tell you what you're connected to. So I'm currently connected to the MedPick account. Good to go. Fabulous. Okay. And also say all rules and fields are compared to that account. So again, if you are building for maybe a couple different accounts, if you're a HubSpot partner, you can test against these. Okay. We are going to create a rule. Okay. We are going to walk through all these tabs together, but we'll start with the basics. Okay. So HubSpot objects, this is where you want your rule to flag. So in our example, we were looking at deals, okay? But you can have them flag on companies, you can have them flag on tickets, contacts, and then this particular one has a custom object called commission. So you can start to build wherever your team is primarily working. So if you have your CS team working in tickets, you can make CS specific ones over in tickets. If your salespeople are in deals, if your SDRs are on contacts, you can start to create all of these on those different roles so that they flag while they're looking there, okay? I always work in deals, but you choose whatever you want, okay? What type of rule is this? So we do have standard ones, which are error, warning, and positive. So that corresponds with the colors that we saw, okay? Unfortunately, we didn't see any green ones. Oh, it looks like we have one over here that says winning, okay? These will correspond just with those colors. So errors are red, warnings are yellow, and positives are green, okay? You can create custom ones. We'll go over that at the end of this kind of this walkthrough. So there are certain things where you're like, hey, there is an automation in play. You could create maybe a what is it? Automation color. I was gonna say green or yellow, but we already have those. You could create an orange one that say, hey, an automation is about to flag or about to go once you fill this out. So you can create custom ones. For now, we'll just do it as an error. Internal name, this is just to organize yourself in the back end of Super. So today is 11/13, and we'll call this PR camp. Okay. Now the display title, this is actually what causes it to look like a deal tag, okay? And this is optional. If you choose to make it optional, they'll aggregate together like this to say, hey, there's 2 warnings on this account, there's 1 error, etc. If you choose to add the display title, it'll start to look like this. So a couple things you're probably already noticing. If a display title has the same name, they won't aggregate together. They will be individual. So like right here, we have 2 display tags, the same medpic. So as you're starting to build, just keep that in mind. They're not going to aggregate together. So using your deal tags for like really specific things or really specific names. For example, we have one that's an onboarding tag, right? It's just yellow. It just says they're onboarding. It just means that our clients are within their first 45 days. So when I look at our client list, I can see really quickly who's in onboarding and who's maybe in different phases of what we call our activation. How do these tags interact with HubSpot's own deal tags? Do they take precedence? They come in after the deal tags. So they do not take precedence. They will fit into the UI underneath. So anything that's native there, native to the page will always take precedence. Good question though. Okay. Back into building this. So I'm not going to do a display title. Okay. The rule text is the text that we actually saw right from the get-go. So on this, the rule text is going to be this. So as you are looking at this, you'll start to notice that there's almost like layers of process rules that we can do. We can have it live as just a rule text. We can do a rule text and a connected card, or we can actually embed a card into the page itself. So you can start to do layers of information depending on the severity of the process rule, where your team is at. For example, if you're rolling out a new process, you can embed everything so that it's front and center. There's different ways that you can present the information that is really dependent on like what you need, right? In these situations, competition. I'm hoping my team knows what competition is. I think it's more important that they are served what competition questions are. So that is why we have them both ways. So when you're building this, you can start to think of those in mind. And how we do it on the back end is very simple. The rule text will be whatever the problem is, right? So it's like, hey, your close date is past due. Okay. Now you can leave it at that. Or you can do the next step, which is which is a rule text plus an attached card. So we'll say like, hey, this is going to be this card. Now, the next step up is going to be design, right? This is where you can embed the card in the page. Now, if this happens, the rule text actually disappears and the card will take precedence, okay? Okay, so we've gone through basics. This will be just how our rule is built, what it's going to look like when we show it to the audience. The next things that we're going to start to go through is everything that works on the back end. So what are the filtering logics that we are going to match to make sure that this rule flags, right? There's 2 ways. One is going to be the audience, okay? By default, it'll go to all users. However, you can do specific users and groups. These are actually going to be specific users inside of Super, okay? It's not going to be your users inside HubSpot. So when you're setting up Super for your end users, they do need to be invited into Super as well. Here you can do specific users, or if you are a pro level seat, you have the ability to do groups. Okay, so you can do your SDR groups, you can do your sales executive, and that way you can very much be specific with what information is being shown. And so that if you have 5 different levels, right, 5 different teams looking at a deal, you can make sure that you're showing what that specific team is responsible for. Okay. Right now, let's do all users. Okay. And then we're going to go into the logic. Now, this is where things get really fun. I love logic. But this is where you're going to start to build the logic that will allow these rules to flag. Okay. A trick of the trade as you're building, come grab the object ID. Okay. And we're going to throw it over here on the right-hand side. And it's going to tell you whether or not these rules are flagging as we build them out. Okay. So over on the logic side, okay, we have filter, group, and association. Filter is actually going to bring in all of the property logic and options. So we'll walk through that. That ties back to the deal or ties back to the object that you chose on the basics tab. Okay. What does that mean? That just means if I do this drop down, it's going to pull over every deal property that is in the Connect HubSpot account. Okay. So things like competition is in this one. Okay. And then it's going to automatically update with the property options. So if it is a drop down, it'll be any of, none of, equals, not equals is known and unknown. And it's going to pull over all the options I have for that field. Okay. Same thing if we go over to amount, it'll switch to like numerical options. So you can say equals is greater than, and you can put in a value. Did I miss an ID? Oh, I did. Thanks. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Okay. So with this one, my rule is, right, my close date is past due. So I'd come back in here. My close date is more than, 1 day ago. Update filter. Yeah. I have another deal I'm testing against. It's telling me that this will not flag, which means my close date is doing well. The deal I'm looking at right now, this one, my close date is 10/9. So yes, my close date is more. So this is telling me it will flag on this deal if I save it. Okay. Now, we're going to pause there. Any questions so far on anything that we have covered for process rules and building? Gonna do hydration, coffee and then water, coffee and then water. That's how we go through the entire day. Okay. There is a bit of a delay, just so you know. There's about 10 seconds from when it comes out of my mouth to when it comes to you guys, and then having questions type in. So there's like awkward pauses. That's why. Okay. But it doesn't look like we have any questions. Okay. Fabulous. We'll move on. Okay. Group logicking. That is where you're going to be your and or logic. So it's Boolean logic. I always say Boolean because Boolean is our CEO. And so someone finally asked me the other day, they're like, do you mean Boolean? And I was like, I do mean Boolean, but I say Boolean. Anyways, that is going to be if you need A and B or C, you build out a group function. Okay. But the most exciting part is actually going to be your associations. Okay. So when I said that we can do cross-object or validation, this is where we're going to build that. So I'm building on a deal. When I click association, it's going to pop up a blue box. Okay. This is how I know I'm dealing with association. Okay. And it's going to give me the ability to say that this deal is associated with no matching, one matching, or all matching. And then it's going to give me all the associated objects. Now I call them both primary and secondary objects inside HubSpot. I'm sure there's a better name for them. For me, primary are going to be your big four objects, right? Tickets, companies, contacts, and deals. Secondary objects are going to be things like a call, any communication, an email, a line item, a meeting, note, product, quote, task, and then of course your custom objects like commission. So I actually can come in here and say, hey, this is for whatever process, right? Say that with this deal, I need to have a handoff, right? To customer success. Okay, sales to service handoff, right? If I'm like, ooh, I don't know if this has it yet. I don't know if anyone's doing this. I can come in here and say, all right, there is no matching, let's say note, okay, where the note body contains any of, let's see what this is called, sales to service handoff. We're going to copy this, okay, sales to service handoff. Okay, update filter. Okay, So right now this is saying, okay, I know that no one's done my self-service handoff playbook because there's not a note left there, right? So if I had to save that role, I come in here, okay. I'm like, all right, this is no competitors known. So hello, I can now log that note. Okay. I didn't even allow time for that note to be, for us to even see that. But now if I come back in and look at that logic, it's going to give me this, and then wouldn't flag. Okay. If I go back and delete it, I'm going to delete this note so we can actually see it in action. Actually, we're going to update this rule because it doesn't say the right thing. We're going to say you didn't fill out the playbook and save rule. Okay. Come in here now. Let's see. I didn't fill out the playbook. Now I'll go in, leave my note, log my note, and it has cleared that rule for me. Okay. So between associations and the ability to choose very granular options, right? It's not just, is this known or unknown? I can say something like, hey, when your competitors equal XYZ, this is when it's going to flag. So if competition is any of XYZ, update filter, this is when this rule will flag. So process rules are powerful, okay? Like so powerful because you can get so granular on the information that you want to present to your team, okay? You can do specific things like competitor battle cards, right? If your competition is XYZ portal replicator, I'm going to serve you all this information about that particular competitor so that you have it right in front of you, ready to go. You can get as granular as like, hey, you sent an email that had the word pricing in it, right? Or let's jump on a call. Here's a better way you can handle that. These are just random examples, but your processes within your company are so specific and unique to you. And process rules are meant to be so flexible that you can put all of your sales enablement and process enforcement in your CRM. This is the part where like, I should have fireworks going off in the background of just like, amazing, amazing. We love this. Okay. Any questions? Okay. We do have a little bit of time left. If you are building and you have a question, if you want to come up and share your screen, we do have time, about 10 minutes, to allow for like, if you have a specific process rule in play that you want to try to build. We have about 10 minutes left that we can start to walk through all of those. So if anyone wants, go ahead and volunteer yourself. I'll send you a link. Who is willing? Anyone? Okay. If not, this replay will be coming to you in about 30 minutes. If you have not joined Super Jam already, Super Jam is our Slack community. It's getting a facelift. I'm going to drop the, if I can figure out how to invite people. There it is. Okay. I'm going to copy the link and put it in this tag. Okay. Just a question on Chrome. If I'm using Firefox, the sidekick is not available, but the rules still are. Unfortunately, no. The sidekick is a Chrome extension, so it'll work on Chrome and Edge, Microsoft Edge, if you are using those. The rules will only show up if Chrome is, if the Chrome extension is downloaded and used. Okay. I have just invited you all to Super Jam. In there are, there is Ask Action Plans, Ask Process Rules. So there are individual channels for each of our features. Go ahead and join if you are not there already. But as you build, please, please, please go ahead and ask away. Okay. I'll stick around if there are any more questions. Fabulous. Thank you guys all. Have a great day. If you haven't already, connect with me on LinkedIn. And that is a very shameless plug, and I'm okay with that. Okay. Have a great day, and we will see you guys all soon. Remember, we have Super 101 on Thursdays, which will go over all of the rest of the fun features, including cards, bases, updates, and action plans. Okay. Thank you all. Have a great day.